I'm Don from True Cable, and today we're going to be discussing everything that you need to know to select the right cable for your Power over Ethernet project. What is PoE? PoE stands for Power over Ethernet. That literally means using the same cable for data and power to power up remote devices. And the big advantage to that is you don't have to have an electrical outlet near one of these devices, like a surveillance camera, for example. One cable, and that's all you need. And it's going to give you your picture and it's going to get us power. Cable selection is the next thing that we should talk about when you're looking to deploy Power over Ethernet. First thing up you should know right away is that unless it's hybrid cable, fiber optical cable, for example, multi-mode, single mode, whatever, useless. Glass doesn't transmit electricity, so you won't be using any kind of optical fiber cable for that project. Another thing to look out for is do not, under any circumstances, use copper-clad aluminum, otherwise known as CCA. It has very high DC resistance and builds up heat, and it will also end up undervolting your remote device, which could toast your surveillance camera, for example. We have extensive videos and blogs on our website that talk about the horrors of CCA and why you shouldn't use it for anything, especially Power over Ethernet. Thicker conductors in general are much better for PoE. So 23 gauge is going to be better than 24, and if you're staying within the standard, 22 gauge conductors are the best. It helps with heat dissipation. It's capable of carrying more current, and it's better in bundles, and it'll actually keep your electrical bills down. Believe it or not, there's some comparisons that have been done between 23 gauge bundles and 22 gauge bundles and power consumption, and having that measured in the 22 gauge saved some money over time. So as you go with a thicker conductor, the heating of the cable goes down, your electrical bill could also go down too. It also allows you to have bigger bundles. Solid copper is always superior when it comes to dealing with Power over Ethernet. Of course, somewhere you're liable to have a patch cord, like at the patch panel to your switch. That's perfectly fine. But in general, you're going to want to use solid copper conductors. And solid copper conductors, you have a plastic coating and then just there's solid copper in there, as opposed to, for example, stranded copper, where you've got the coating and then you open it up and peel it back and you see a bunch of wire hairs. That's stranded copper. Stranded copper is not horrible, but it is going to cause more resistance and less ability to carry current, and it's going to result in increased heat and perhaps shorter lengths. So stick with solid copper as much as you can for Power over Ethernet. Always defer to a higher category, because as you go up in category, generally the copper conductors are thicker, the cable is more robust. Unless we're talking about a specialty cable, like there's some Cat 5e cable out there that is 22 gauge. Normally it's 24, but it's specialty and built for that. Also, shielded cable can be of benefit in a Power over Ethernet deployment. Shielded cable has a better heat dissipation rate due to the mylar shielding, so that can help increase your cable counts in your bundles up to 20%. So the next thing we should talk about are termination accessories, and that's often overlooked, and I'll tell you why. It's called spark arc damage. And so what happens when you have a live circuit plugged in, like with a patch cord into a keystone jack, and then you unplug it and it's live with PoE power? Well, you're going to get a spark. So if your termination hardware is not specifically hardened and rated for the particular kind of PoE you're deploying, the repeated plugging and unplugging and spark arc that will occur, which is going to occur no matter what, but if it should get repeatedly plugged and unplugged, you're going to accumulate pitting and damage and discoloration and carbon on the golden contacts, which will degrade performance over time. So it's important to make sure that you are picking hardware like keystones and field termination plugs or RJ45s that will withstand a few, pluggings and unpluggings. Also, just a tip, power down any live PoE drops on the switch. If it's a managed switch, you can go into the switch settings and power down that particular port from PoE before you go unplugging things, especially if it's 60 watt and higher, or type 3 or 4 PPoE. That'll help save a lot of trouble as well. You don't want to have an incident which could cause damage to your endpoint hardware. Okay, so the final thing we're going to talk about is bundling cable, which is an important item to discuss when it comes to structured cabling systems employing power over Ethernet. Separate bundles, and I would recommend, like if you have like 48 PoE cables, create yourself two 24s or four 12s or whatever you wish to do, depending on your wattage, and keep them all bundled separately, separated by about 1.5 inches each. That helps with airflow, which is a good thing. The next thing is how many cables carrying PoE can you get into a bundle? Well, we have a chart for that where you can reference how many cables you can get into a bundle that's carrying a certain amount of PoE. For the type of PoE, you're going to be allowed to have a certain amount of bundle size for air or conduit. So if you take a notice, the first line PoE, and then we have the amount of cable you can have either in air or conduit, depending on the situation. And as you go up in category, by the way, is about unshielded cable. If you are using shielded, you can go ahead and increase cable counts by 10% due to the better heat dissipation. But take a notice, a regular old PoE at 15.4 watt has no set limit all the way across the board, whether air or conduit. But if you go all the way up to 100 watt PoE, notice that if you're working with Cat 6A or Cat 5e, for example, in conduit, you're limited to 31 cables. So the amount of wattage and the type of category cable you're working with has a great deal to do with how many cables you can get into a bundle, whether that be in conduit or out of conduit. Avoid the use of cable combs. Cable combs tend to cause data transmission issues between cables by making them too neat. It can cause the same issue with power over Ethernet, so avoid the use of cable combs. Use Velcro straps, avoid nylon ties. That's going to all help with heat dissipation. And I would further suggest that we do have a blog and video that specifically reference conduit loading, the maximum amount of cabling you can have in a conduit, and I recommend strongly that you cross-reference the PoE safety conduit loading chart with the other chart to make sure that you're putting in the right number of cables into the conduit for your situation. And always defer to your manufacturer, and if need be, the National Electric Code, National Fire Protection Act, Part 70, has more information about bundling and fire safety when you're pushing PoE across data cable. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Happy networking.